What if death was not the end? What if the story we thought had closed was only a pause before something darker? Imagine the silence of Dexter's final breath, broken not by peace, but by the return of an old ghost. A ghost with unfinished business, a ghost with one line carved into the memory of every fan. Surprise, Motherfcker. Asterisk, the screen fades from black. A chilling wind cuts across the frozen woods of Iron Lake. The snow is stained with red, small trails leading into the darkness like breadcrumbs of tragedy. The camera glides over the ground, showing Dexter's lifeless body lying motionless in the snow. His eyes are open but empty, his chest still, his lips frozen mid-breath. For a moment it feels final. It feels like justice has spoken, but then silence. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort but warns. A faint sound echoes beneath the snow dull at first, like the memory of a heartbeat. Slowly, it grows louder, steadier, pulsing against the quiet. The camera zooms in on Dexter's chest. A twitch, a spasm. Something inside refuses to let go. The visuals remain faceless, just hands, boots, silhouettes moving in the shadows. Someone steps into the frame. Heavy black boots crush the snow as they approach Dexter's body. The figure kneels down, their gloved hands brushing snow off his face. The camera never reveals who this person is, just a shadow, dragging Dexter away from the light of the night sky. The screen cuts to black, leaving only the sound of dragging across ice. Narration cuts in. We thought it ended here. We thought the dark passenger had finally been silenced. But what if death was not the end? What if the hunter was never meant to stay buried? The scene transitions. From the cold blue of Iron Lake snow, the screen melts into the warm glow of Miami. The sound design shifts icy winds, replaced by the hum of neon lights. The buzz of insects, the crash of waves against the shore. Familiar but haunting. It feels like stepping back into an old memory that never truly faded. We see the city in pieces. Palm trees swaying against a stormy sky. The glint of sunlight against police tape, and an old evidence box being pushed across a dusty desk. Inside that box are Dexter's trophies, the blood slides he once collected. The camera lingers on them, one by one, as if they are whispering stories of victims long gone. The narration continues. The past doesn't stay buried. It waits in the shadows of Miami, in the echoes of every crime scene, in the silence of every unanswered question, and sometimes it waits in the voices of those we thought gone forever. Suddenly the screen goes dark. A single sound pierces the silence, the scrape of a chair on a concrete floor. The echo is sharp, metallic, almost violent. The camera cuts to a dimly lit room, but still faceless. A shadowy figure walks in. Only footsteps are shown, boots, the sound of breath. A hand slams down on the table. Then, from the shadows, a familiar voice growls, low and unforgettable. Surprise, Motherfcker. Asterisk, the screen cuts to black again. The words echo. The tension rises. The heartbeat returns, pounding. Faster than before, narration whispers, and with that one word, the story changes. Asterisk, the screen begins in darkness. Not the kind of darkness that comforts you at night, but the kind that swallows sound, swallows memory, swallows hope. Slowly, a faint rhythm builds, a thump, then another, not music. Not footsteps, a heartbeat. Slow, unsteady, but alive. The camera pans down into a void-like space where Dexter's body appears, floating as though suspended in black water. His chest rises faintly. His skin, pale and lifeless, is caught between stillness and struggle. We never see his full face, only fragments, close-ups of his lips twitching, his hand trembling. The flicker of his eye. The narration begins, low and haunting. They thought the story ended with a bullet. They thought justice was final, but darkness. Darkness has a way of clinging on, refusing to let go, and sometimes death is not the end. Sometimes it is only the beginning. Suddenly the frame shatters. The water turns to snow. Dexter's body is dragged again, faceless hands gripping him firmly. We hear the sound of chains rattling, heavy breathing, and the crunch of boots against ice. The camera stays tight on close-ups, the hands pulling, the snow streaking across his jacket, the trail of blood disappearing into the woods. A door creaks open. A flood of warm light spills onto the snow. The unknown figure drags Dexter inside. We never see who it is, just shadows. Tools clatter on a table. Plastic sheeting flutters in the background. A faint hum of electricity runs through the air. The heartbeat grows louder. Dexter's fingers twitch. His chest rises sharply. His eye flickers open for a brief second before slamming shut again. Narration. Some men are meant to rest, but others carry too much weight to ever stay buried. The visuals cut to flashes of memory blood dripping from a knife. Harrison's face out of focus, Miami's ocean reflecting moonlight, Deb's ghost whispering in a blurred hospital room. These memories crash like waves, disjointed, chaotic, like a broken puzzle forcing itself back together. Then silence again. A single drip of blood falls onto the camera lens. Dexter jolts awake. His gasp echoes like thunder in the empty room. His hands claw at the plastic beneath him. His chest heaves. As though every breath is a war, he is alive but not whole. His body is scarred, fragile. His mind fractured, unsteady, dangerous. The narration sharpens. The dark passenger never died. It waited, patiently, for its chance to rise again. The screen fades to Dexter's perspective. His vision is blurred, spinning, unfocused. Shapes move in the shadows, but he cannot see who they are. A shadowed figure leans in, faceless, and whispers something unintelligible. Dexter tries to speak, but only a rasp escapes his throat. His voice is gone, his strength stolen. The heartbeat shifts, no longer just his. Another rhythm joins it. Steady, confident, controlled. The scene changes. We cut to Miami. The hum of city life bleeds through, sirens wailing in the distance. Waves crashing against the shore, muffled voices arguing in alleyways. The neon glow of the city casts a sickly light over everything. The narration deepens. And in the streets of Miami, where secrets never truly fade, where the dead never stay silent, an old hunter waits. We see fragments, a police badge. Sliding across a table, a locker slamming shut, a knife blade glinting under fluorescent light. The pieces are scattered but familiar, each one dripping with nostalgia and menace. The camera cuts back to Dexter's hand. It curls into a fist, weak but determined. He drags himself up slowly, trembling but unbroken. His eyes open wider this time, still blurred, still hollow, but burning with something primal. The narration whispers, resurrection comes at a cost. Blood for breath, guilt for survival, and in the silence between life and death, enemies return. The screen cuts sharply to black. Only sound remains. The scrape of a chair on concrete. Heavy footsteps echoing closer. And then silence, whisper pierces through, chilling and unforgettable. Surprise, Motherfcker. Asterisk, the sound echoes as the heartbeat pounds violently in the background. Dexter exhales slowly, as though he knows exactly who that voice belongs to. The section ends on a black screen. No visuals, just the sound of breath, the heartbeat, and the faint crackle of neon electricity humming in the distance. Asterisk, the screen hums alive with color. Cold snow dissolves into heat waves. White fades into orange. Miami returns not as the sunlit paradise tourists imagine, but as the city of secrets. Neon lights buzz against broken signs. Humidity drips down cracked windows. The ocean breathes. Heavy under the weight of the night, its tides pulling like an endless heartbeat. The camera floats over faceless crowds moving along the street's dark outlines. Blurred figures. A police siren wails somewhere in the distance, but no one looks up. Miami is alive, but it feels like a ghost of itself. For Dexter, this city was never home. It was a hunting ground. The narration seeps in. Snow fades, ice melts. But memories, they linger. Every city has a ghost. And Miami's ghost wears a badge. We cut to fragments. A blood slide falls into an evidence box, shattering the silence. A knife drips red into a sink, water swirling it away. A shadow unlocks a metal cabinet. Inside, a stack of case files, Doakes case files. The paper edges curl, the ink faded but still burning with obsession. The visuals stay faceless. Hands flipping through reports, a blurred reflection in a dirty mirror. Yellowed photographs with corners bent, showing crime scenes we never fully see. A boot stepping into a puddle. Every image hints at a return, but never confirms it. Then the sound of a door opening. We move into a room. It's dark, windowless, lit only by a single flickering bulb. An interrogation table sits in the middle, scarred and dented from years of use. The air hums with tension. The camera lingers on the empty chair, scraping across the floor as if waiting for someone. The narration sharpens. He was gone? Burnt, dead, or so they said. But Miami doesn't bury its demons, it recycles them. Footsteps echo, slow, deliberate, like a predator circling prey. The camera stays low, just the legs, heavy boots, the sound of authority. A hand, dark-skinned, scarred, clenches into a fist. Fingers tap against the steel table, 3 slow taps, echoing louder each time. Then silence. The camera cuts to Dexter's blurred perspective. His vision flickers as though he's still recovering. He hears the sound first, a voice. Gravel in its tone, familiar, menacing. Thought you could run, didn't you? The camera pans back to the dark room. We still don't see a face, just shadows shifting. A chair scrapes violently as someone sits across from Dexter. A hand slams onto the table, making the bulb above sway. The voice cuts through again, clearer this time, filled with venom and history. Surprise, Motherfcker. Asterisk, the screen flashes white with the force of the line, like a memory burned into the mind of every fan. The echo lingers, stretching out as if the walls themselves are repeating it. Dexter's breathing quickens. His hand grips the edge of the table, knuckles white. He knows the voice. He knows the rage behind it. He knows the man who should not be here. The narration slides in, hushed but sharp. Some ghosts don't fade. They don't forgive. They don't forget. They wait. And when the moment comes, they strike. The visuals show only glimpses. A badge thrown onto the table, its shine catching the light. A knife blade pulled from a sheath. 2 hands, one scarred with rage, the other trembling with recovery, meeting in the middle of the frame as if war itself has taken form. The city outside grows louder, sirens, waves, voices building to a deafening roar before suddenly cutting to silence. A single line breaks the quiet, spoken like a death sentence. You're not the only one who came back, Dexter. The bulb above swings violently now, shadows stretching across the walls like bars in a cage. The faceless figure leans closer, but the camera never reveals him fully. Just enough. Just the presence. Just the fear. The narration ends the section. The past doesn't stay dead. It doesn't forgive. And in Miami, it comes back to finish what it started. The screen cuts to black. The heartbeat pounds again. The voice echoes one last time, fading into static. Surprise! Motherfcker. Asterisk, asterisk. The screen flickers with static, then silence. The sound of breath fills the void, 2 different rhythms, uneven and tense. One heavy, controlled. The other quick, unsteady, like prey cornered. The camera pulls into the interrogation room again, though it feels smaller now, like the walls are pressing inward. Shadows stretch across the floor, crossing like prison bars. The flickering bulb sways overhead, its light carving lines across the figures below. We never see their faces, only hands, shoulders, the sharp movement of shadows. Dexter, weak but alive, grips the edge of the table. His fingers tremble, but his grip is iron. Across from him, the other figure sits tall, steady, radiating fury. The silence is unbearable. Narration whispers. One came back from death with guilt. The other came back with rage. Both hunters. Both ghosts, but only one can haunt Miami. The camera cuts to fragments. Dexter's hand brushing over a knife handle, veins pulsing under his skin. The other man's fist tightening until knuckles crack. The swing of the bulb above like a pendulum, ticking time down to violence. Then suddenly the sound explodes. The table crashes as it's slammed forward. Dexter stumbles back, his chair screeching against the concrete. The other figure rises, towering, his silhouette sharp against the swinging light. The voice booms, raw with fury. You should have stayed buried, Dexter. Dexter steadies himself, his breath ragged. His voice is weaker, rasped, but it cuts through the room like a blade, so should you? The fight begins, but this is no ordinary fight. This is faceless chaos. The visuals are abstract, raw, fragmented. A hand gripping a knife, a boot slamming against the floor, plastic sheeting tearing from the wall, shadows colliding against shadows. Their movements blurred, almost inhuman. Sound design takes over. The thud of fists, the crack of bone, the hiss of breath. Every sound is exaggerated, primal, dragging the audience deeper into the darkness. Narration builds, sharp and relentless. Two obsessions colliding, two predators fighting for one city. The dark passenger against the unyielding badge. Justice versus vengeance, neither pure, neither clean, only blood. The visuals shift rapidly, blood dripping onto the interrogation table. A knife scraping concrete, the swinging bulb exploding into shards of glass. The fight slows. Both figures collapse onto the table, gasping. The room shakes with silence. Again, only breath, only heartbeat. Dexter's hand presses against the table, leaving a smear of blood. His voice rasps, "You can't stop what I am." The other figure leans forward, shadow heavy, voice filled with venom. "And I can't stop hunting you." Their eyes lock, though unseen by the camera. The tension is undeniable. The screen cuts rapidly between them, Dexter's trembling hand. The badge glinting faintly in the dark, the blood pooling beneath them both. Narration whispers, "This is not justice. This is not survival. This is eternal pursuit. A curse that binds them together forever." The sound builds, heartbeats overlapping, voices echoing, sirens wailing outside the room. The walls tremble with the noise until everything cuts to black. Then the final reveal, a faceless montage begins. Dexter walking down a dark Miami street, his shadow long, knife glinting faintly in his hand. The other figure following behind, always one step away, always in pursuit. Blood drips across the pavement, blending into rain. A shattered mirror reflects fragments of both men, blurred and broken. Narration delivers the final line, haunting. An absolute, in another world, the story doesn't end with justice. It doesn't end with death. It ends with two ghosts, forever chasing, forever hunted, forever bound. The screen fades to black. Silence. And then, like a final stab into memory, the voice returns one last time. Echoing in the void. Surprise! Motherfcker. Asterisk. The words dissolve into static, swallowing everything. On screen, bold text appears. Dexter, resurrection, alternate ending, because some stories never die. The screen cuts off sharply, leaving nothing but silence and darkness.